Ajanati, without any knowledge. Priyatamam, her dearmost husband. Yada, when. Uparatam, passed away. Angana, the woman. Sosprita, fixed up. Asanam, on the seat. Asadya, going up to. Yatha, as. Purvam, before. Upachara, went on serving him. The proper translation. The daughter of King Vidarbha continued as usual to serve her husband, who was seated in steady posture until she could ascertain that he had passed away from the body. Please repeat. The daughter of the king Vidarbha continued as usual to serve her husband, who was seated in a steady posture until she could ascertain that he has passed away from the body. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. It appears that the queen did not even talk to her husband by serving him. She would simply perform her prescribed duties without thought. Thus, she did not stop rendering service until she could ascertain that her husband has passed away from the body. Text number 46. While she was serving her husband by massaging his legs, she could feel that his feet were no longer warm and could thus understand that he had already passed from the body. She felt great anxiety from being left alone. Bereft of her husband's company, she felt exactly as the deer feels upon separated from its mate. Report. As soon as the circulation of blood and air within the body stops, it is to be understood that the soul within the body has left. The stoppage of the blood circulation is perceived by the hands and the feet, those hard heart. One tests whether the body is alive or not by feeling the heart's palpitations and the coldness of the feet and hands. Text number 47. Being now alone and a widow in a widow in the forest, the daughter of Vidarbha began to lament, incessantly shedding her tears which soaked her breath and crying very loud. Purport. Figuratively, the queen is supposed to be the disciple of the king. Thus, when mortal body of the spiritual master expires, his disciple should cry exactly as the queen cries when the king leaves his body. However, the disciple and the spiritual master are never separated because the spiritual master always keeps company with the disciple as long as the disciple follows strictly the instructions of the spiritual master. This is called association of Vani, verbs. Physical presence is called Vapu. As long as the spiritual master is physically present, the disciple should serve the physical body of the spiritual master. And when the spiritual master is no longer physically existing, the disciple should serve the instructions. Text number 48. O best of kings, please get up, get up. Just see this world surrounded by water and infested with rogues and so-called kings. This world is very much afraid, and it is your duty to protect her. Purport. Whenever an acharya comes to following the superior orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his representative, he establishes the principles of religion as enunciated in the the Bhagavad Gita. Religion means abiding by the orders of the spiritual supreme personality of God. Religious principles begin from the time one surrenders to the supreme personality of God. It is the Acharya's duty to spread a bona fide religious system and introduce everyone to bow down before the Supreme Lord. One executes the religious principles by rendering devotional service, specifically in the 9 items like hearing, chanting, and remembering. Unfortunately, when the Acharya disappears, rogues and non-devotees take advantage of and immediately begin to introduce unauthorized principles in the name of so-called swamis, yogis, philanthropists, welfare workers, and so on. Actually, human life is meant to executing the orders of the Supreme Lord, and this is stated in the Bhagavad Gita 9:34. Manmana bhavavan bhakto madhya jai mam namaskuru. Mam evas yasi yuktaivam atmanam madhparayam. Engage your mind always in thinking of me and became my devotee. Offer obeisances and worship me. Being completely absorbed me, surely you will come to me. The main business of human society is to think of the Supreme Personality of Godhead at all times, to become his devotee, to worship the Supreme Lord, and to bow down before him. The Acharya, authorized representative of the Supreme Lord, establishes these principles, but when he disappears, things once again become disordered. The perfect disciples of the Acharya try to relieve the situation by sincerely following the instructions of the spiritual master. At the present moment, practically the entire world is afraid of rogues and non-devotees. Therefore, this Krishna consciousness movement started to save the world from irreligious principles. Everyone should cooperate with this movement in order to bring out actual peace and happiness in the world. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Om Agyanantimirandasya Gyananjalaşalakaya Çakşoranmilitam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Tare Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Gaurvani Charine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Vaishnavi Pranine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Panchakapatirubyascha, Kipasindhu Vyacha, Patidanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Mukkam Karoti Vacharam, Sangam Vedigirim, Yatkipatam Aham Vande, Shri Guru Janatarinam, Paramanantamanabam, Shri Chaitanya Mishwaram, Hare Om Tatsat, Hare Krishna. First, I would like to thank all of you that you give me the opportunity to serve you in this very nice time of the year, like Kartik, which usually like multiplies every effort. So I'm not giving one Bhagavatam lecture; I'm giving 1,000 Bhagavatam lecture. So I will have the benefit of this. Thank you so much for having me here. And especially thank you for your Prabhus that taking me care so nicely. I'm very glad and I'm very happy to be here and be able to serve you. Hare Krishna. So what we see in the end of the third canto, we heard about Kapila Dev, and he was teaching Sankhya philosophy to his mother Devahuti, and this is a very important topic because of two things. The first, it teaches the living entity how to distinguish things. So this is a very important skill because without this, the living entity cannot use the material world properly. So properly means that as a tool for spiritual elevation. And if one cannot use a thing, a tool properly, there will be two problems. The first one is that the job will not be done. And the second one is he will experience suffering. For example, there is a knife. Everyone knows that a knife is a very simple thing. There is it consists two parts. There is a dull part and there is a sharp part. So if one takes the dull part and presses the sharp part on the potato, it will cut the potato very easily. But if one takes the sharp part and try to press the dull part on the potato, there will be two things. One is he will not cut the potato, and he will cut the fingers. So this is how the material world works. If you use material world properly, you know how it works, then you can use it properly and will not cause suffering. But if you don't use it properly, it will cause suffering. Not just by cutting the hands, but another suffering is you cannot cut the potato. So you will be hungry. You cannot fry it and you will be hungry. So two suffering and more. So misusing misusing the material energy because one does not understand how is it work, we let suffering. And suffering means continuous existence here in this material world, or we call it samsara. So by distinguishing So distinguishing is an important skill, both materially and spiritually. Spiritually is also important. So before Kapila, Shukadeva Goswami speaks about the oneness. So the living entity on every levels of consciousness, from the material consciousness to like Vishuddha Sattva, can understand the Lord in different forms. So we should not forget the first 6 canto of the Bhagavatam are Sambandha Gyan. So which means it is showing us the connection between Krishna and the material world, the connection between the material world and the living entity, and the connection between the living entity and Krishna. So this is the goal of Shukadeva Goswami, to establish these connections, to make them understandable. And because with this knowledge, one can see himself properly and act properly. So he will achieve a proper goal in a proper way. So from ground zero, like material consciousness, to the highest Vishuddha Sattva, everybody can relate by the teachings of Shukadeva Goswami. So if everything is Krishna, I am in connection with Krishna all the time. So this is the basic principle he's establishing. Yes, but this is only the half of the knowledge, half of the tattva, and a quite dangerous half, because from this Advaita comes. So because if everything is Krishna, then this means I'm also Krishna. So I can do whatever I want because I'm God. So, but can I? Of course not, because that's the half of the truth. So Kapila comes and he is establishing Abheda Tattva. So making philosophy whole, Achintya, Veda, and Abheda. And by explaining how to distinguish. So before that, Shukadeva Goswami explained how everything is one, and then Kapila comes and explaining how everything is different, how to distinguish, how to understand the nature of the things. Because if you know the nature of the things, then you can use them properly. And so there is matter, soul, and super soul. And what we read here in the Bhagavatam, the king was able to distinguish. He was very, very professionally situated, and we read that when he was about to die, he saw himself just next to the super soul. So he was like sitting in the body, which is matter. He was the jiva, which is soul, and he saw the super soul, which is Krishna. So he was perfectly situated because he was able to distinguish, he was able to differentiate things. So this is a very, very important skill to understand. Jai Shri Shri Radha Vinod Ki Jai, Jagannath Baladev Subhadramana Ki Jai, Shri Shri Gauranitai Ki Jai. So why I'm telling this? Why I'm talking about Kapila? Kapila was almost 30 chapters ago. Because Bhagavatam is Abhidheya Shastra. Abhidheya Shastra means that it is explaining how philosophy works through stories. And this is what we see here. We heard the philosophy from Kapila Dev in details previously. Now, to fully understand, we are seeing the practice. So there is a child, and the mother says, "Don't be envy, don't be envious." And the child would say, "Okay, mother, but I don't really understand." Why? Because he don't even understand the word envy, not the act. What is envious? Why? Because he does never not even know what enviness is. Maybe he knows the feeling, uh, but not sure that he knows the name of this feeling. So he also doesn't know why not to be envy and so on. But he hears the story of the lion and the bull. You all know the story of the lion and the bull. It's Panchatantra. Um, he will understand that yes, being envious is not very good. So it can destroy friendships. It can destroy like connections and so on. So he will try not to be envy. He understood the philosophy through a story. So Vyasa wrote Srimad Bhagavatam for Kali Yuga people, not the wisest ones. So everyone can understand philosophy because it shows what is happening when someone is using philosophy properly, what will be the result of that. And sometimes it will show that what will happen when someone is misusing the philosophy, what will be the result of that. So we see great examples uh, here in the fourth canto. If someone is using understanding Sankhya properly and properly, um, the story. No, she wants to hear the story of the bull. The, no. The bull. There was a lion, and he had like two jackals as a company. They were serving the lion, two jackals. And once a bull came, and the lion became a friend of the bull. So they were, because the bull was very wise. So the lion was asking the bull so many things, and the bull was answering the questions. So they became very good friends. And there was these two jackals who were envious because they saw that the lion is becoming more friendly with the bull than with them. So they started to like talking to the lion that the bull wants to take your place, so be careful. And in the same time, they started to talk to the bull that yeah, the lion is only friendly with you because he wants to eat you, and so on. So so this is how because of the envious of these two jackals, the connection, the friendship between the lion and the bull was destroyed. So this is basically, in nutshell, this is the story. So this is how we can understand being envious is not a good thing. In the 12th chapter of the third canto, Shukadeva Goswami begins to introduce Swayambhuva Manu's lineage, family tree, Vamsha, his descendants. So he will continue this with this branch of the Vamsha up till the 8th canto. So Manu has three daughters, Devahuti, Akuti, and Prasuti, and two sons, Uttanapada and Priyavrata. So it starts with the ladies, and we hear about marriage of Devahuti and Kashyapa, and part of this, there is Kapila Dev, we're talking about, and after Prasuti and the marriage of Daksha comes, in this lineage, Nara and Narayana Rishi comes, and the second Manu, which is called Swarochisha Manu, and it continues with Ruchi and Akuti. And in this lineage, the first Manvantara Avatara Yakya appears, who will have the position of Indra during the Swayambhuva Manvantara. After the ladies, he starts to speak about the lineage of the first son, Uttanapada Maharaj. This branch of the Vamsha goes till the end of this fourth canto, and then we make a little detour to the other son, Priyavrata Maharaj's lineage, and but we will come back to this lineage at the sixth canto, Uttanapada lineage, when we are speaking about the second birth of Daksha. So amongst Uttanapada Maharaj descendants, of course, there is Dhruva Maharaj, there is Chakshusha Manu, the sixth Manu, after Anga, Vena, and Prithu Maharaj. After two generations, there is Maharaj Barhishat, who we are reading about now. So in the 24th chapter, Vidura asked Maitreya two questions. What did the Lord Shiva begin being pleased to speak when the Prachetas met him? And how did he get his darshana? I mean, how did the Prachetas get his darshana? So Maitreya starts to talk about the Prachetas, the son of Maharaj Barisat. But after this, Maitreya turns back and starts to tell the story of the Samvada of Narada and Barisat Maharaj, who was really much into Karmakanda. So Narada asked him, what do you desire with these karmas? Why do you do these karmas? And he answers, since my intelligence is entangled in karma, so I don't know the ultimate goal of life. I cannot distinguish things. I only see one thing is matter, so I do material things. But I know that there are many things beyond this. So kindly instruct me that knowledge, how can I get out from this entanglement? And there is one important thing here. Uh, he said, since my intelligence is entangled in karma. So I don't know the ultimate goal of life. So what is the function? What is one function of the intelligence? Is discrimination. So when the intelligence is entangled, is not working properly because it is overruled by the mind, overruled by the mind is thinking, feeling, and feeling. So if not controlled properly by the intelligence, many suffering will come because the mind would like to fulfill the material desires. So Narada is very clever. Instead of telling straight philosophy to Bodhisattva Maharaj, he tells a story. So Bodhisattva Maharaj can recognize himself and understand his problems. And once he understands things properly, he will be able to act properly. And by um, and acting appropriately means bhakti. So since Narada is a Sakyavesha avatara of bhakti shakti, yeah, so he can make people devotees very easily. So that is what he is doing now with Barishat Maharaj. So distinguishing and is one important thing, and another important thing is telling the philosophy through stories to make understand everyone of the philosophy. So Sankhya and discrimination. And Kapila, he told us the philosophy, then the practical part comes with the fourth canto. Daksha, he was not able to discriminate at all. Because of this, the result was very bad. So we all know the story. First thing that Kapila is teaching Devahuti. Um, uh, oh, what is the first thing what Kapila is teaching Devahuti? You remember? The Swarupa and Tatashta Lakshanas of the sadhus. So she can distinguish ordinary people and sadhus. So by associating with sadhus, she can practice devotional service and elevate her consciousness and so on. And because knowing of these can make decision whom to associate with. And Daksha did not have this skill. Uh, and because of this, he got into trouble. Could not discriminate if whether Lord Shiva is a sadhu or an ordinary like an ordinary person or a very low class person. So he get into trouble, and we can learn from his example. If we don't want to have a head of a goat, then we should should learn how to distinguish and by learning what are the qualities of the sadhus, internal qualities and also external qualities. This is Swarupa Lakshana and Tatashta Lakshana. Because Tatashta is secondary, so someone can be peaceful and so on, but not a sadhu. But someone who is worshipping the deity and doing devotional service is a sadhu, even though even sometimes he's not very peaceful. So then Dhruva Maharaj comes. It's also a very great example, not a bad example like Daksha, but not entirely good example. I mean, but a brilliant example of the power of the bhakti. So bhakti cleanses consciousness, and so how bhajana kriya helps going through over anartha-nivritti. Very good example in the story of Dhruva Maharaj. And so then Anga and Vena comes. Perfect examples what not to do. So the result, when someone goes but when someone does not understand and knows the nature of things. And because of this, he cannot act properly. So very pretty good example of not acting properly because not able to be distinguished. And then Prit Maharaj comes, who is a positive example, who knows who is he, what the goal, what are his goals, and how he would like to achieve that goals. And then the Prachetas, who are kind of in between, they know things, they do not know things. So if you analyze the Song of Lord Shiva, which was before this chapter, it is full of Sankhya. So he talks about the deities, various kind of deities, and function of these deities, and the purpose of the prayers to these deities. And then he's talking about the best deity, or which to worship. And again, Swarupa and Tatashta Lakshana of the devotees. In fact, this is almost the Lord Shiva song is almost the summary of Kapila Dev's speech to devotee. And then Barishat Maharaj and the story of Puranjana comes. So fully allegorical. Usually the stories in the Bhagavatam are real stories, true stories. But this is a fiction. This is an allegory. In the next chapter, Narada will describe the allegories in the story very greatly, very in great details. So we see that the method that Kapila gives can be used in many ways, in many circumstances. So these are the principles that he that can be applied quite generally. So this distinguishing and all the Sankhya philosophy. So we can do this also. What Srila Prabhupada is talking in the purport in the case of Guru. So Vani and Vapu, these are different things. So if one is practicing this distinguishing Vani and Vapu, the connection with the spiritual master is what Srila Prabhupada is telling in the purport of the last shloka. Understand the parts of the Guru, Vapu and Vani. While both are important, one is more important because it will help even after the other one is gone. So this is the way. So if one does not learn to use the part which stays properly, will face a great difficulty afterwards. So one should be prepared, and Srila Prabhupada points out that the society, that the society is not prepared properly when the great soul left. So this is why we are facing difficulties. So the society were not very prepared to when like Parikshit Maharaj left. That's why a great problem came. So this is why we are still facing difficulties. If there is a visible example, it's easier to follow. So if there is Guru who is acting like one way, and we see how he's acting, how he does things, it's easier to follow. But this example will sooner or later disappear. And if one is not prepared for that, that he will be in great trouble. So this happened throughout history, not only in the case of spiritual leaders, but in the case of great material leaders also. So one should, the message, if I want to conclude my speak, I would say that learning how to distinguish things, how to understand the uh, the nature of things is very important, because then one can use them accordingly, properly, and get a proper result. And the second thing is understand what spiritual master is and how to follow spiritual master. Not only the body of the spiritual master, but the words of the spiritual master. Because the body, sooner or later, will be gone. That's the nature of um, that's the nature. But the words, the teaching will stay. And if one is stuck to uh, the words, then he can continue devotional service in a proper way. So, yeah, one should learn the art of Sankhya. And by art, I mean Vijnana, practical knowledge, or not only theoretical. So this is the same case with the spiritual master, not just the Vapu, but the Vani, because it will have so much in so many ways in the life, both spiritual and also in material. So I would like to end here. It's possible. And if someone has correction, please tell me, correct me kindly. I'm not sure that I'm not perfect, so I can make mistakes. So no correction, then maybe someone has question. Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Tatastha Lakshana. Swarupa and Tatastha Lakshana of sadhus. When Kapila starts to teach Devahuti, he first he's establishing what he's calling Adhyatmika Yoga. Adhyatmika Yoga consists of three things. One is Sankhya, one is Yoga, and one is Bhakti. So Sankhya is Sambandha, which means the basics, and Yoga is Abhidheya, how to use the Sambandha to the goal, for the goal, which is Bhakti. And but the main thing is the goal is Bhakti. So that is why Kapila is will start to speak like Adav Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Tatorna Tarimdisitya, etc. So first he's telling about the faith, and then he's telling about Sadhu Sangha. So and to understand Sadhu Sangha properly, he's telling what is sadhu. So what is the quality of the sadhu, and he gives the quality of the sadhus two ways. One is internal quality, and one is external quality. Internal quality means Swarupa Lakshana. Swarupa means it cannot be separated. So let me just find this part. So it's in the 25th chapter. So right in the beginning of Kapila Dev's speech to Devahuti, and it is the 22nd. The Swarupa Lakshana is in the 22nd verse, and sorry, yes, 21st verse is Tatastha Lakshana. So yeah, Titik Shavarta. Yeah. So yes, and just let me find the verse. So it says the 21st verse. Sadhu, the symptoms of sadhu are that he is tolerant. So first thing, what the sadhu is tolerant. Second thing is merciful. Third thing is friendly to all living entities. Because of this, he has no enemies, and he is very peaceful, and he abides the scriptures. So he follows the scriptures. So all these characteristics are Tatashta Lakshana. And then he continues saying Swarupa Lakshana. Such sadhu engages in staunch devotional service. So very firm in the devotional service of the Lord without deviation. So this is the other thing. Very staunch, very determined, and without any deviation. Uh, and then he said, for the sake of the Lord, he renounces all other connections. So there is one sambandha of him and the Lord, such as family relationship and friendly acquaintances within this world. So nothing exists but him and the Lord. This is the quality, the criminal quality of the sadhus. And of course, after the 23rd verse, he's speaking about Abhidheya. So this was Sambandha. He's establishing the principles, and then he's telling how to perform these qualities. So he said, engage constantly in chanting and hearing about me. This is how to be a sadhu, how to act like a sadhu. Uh, the sadhus do not suffer from material miseries because they are always filled with thoughts of my pastimes and activities. So always remember of the Lord's pastimes and activities. This will keep away one from suffering because the mind is engaged in this service. So I hope this was an answer for you. Yes. 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 Always there. So this you cannot separate. Swarupa means you cannot separate, and this is one thing, and another thing it defines. So only that one who is a sadhu is acting like this, and only the sadhus acting like this. So this is two things. What Swarupa means. And Tatashta is, yes, sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. Sometimes we see it in not just sadhus, these qualities, but yeah. So this is the Tatashta, secondary. So, any more questions? Thank you so much for just talk about the ability. So where it's necessary for us, and is the
really going to be towards non-discrimination, or because we also hear about Panditas, others, all that. So, how is this journey, the progress? Mindset starts, where this becomes less and that becomes something if you could.
That's a very nice question. Very important question because discrimination sometimes it will lead to doubt. And what Krishna is saying in the Bhagavad Gita after a while to Arjuna, stop doubting, let's accept. So my understanding, the way is like non-discrimination first, to understand how Krishna is everything. So how can I connect with Krishna in any ways? So that's why Sukadeva Goswami is talking about material creation to make this connection, because before that, if we see the matter, it's only matter. But after that, after we know that is the energy of Krishna, then we see the connection. So we already connected with Krishna in that way, and by this connection, the consciousness will elevate. So he will be able to understand higher principles. That's why he's speaking about Virat Rupa. Second thing is Virat Rupa. So Virat Rupa is a person. I mean, then he brings us the personal aspect. It's an imaginary form and it's still material, but it's a personal form. So there is a concept of person. And then he is speaking about Paramatma. So that's another thing. Materialist person cannot understand that are things beyond the material, the matter. So the consciousness should be elevated to a level to get understand this concept, and that's why he's introducing the concept of super soul, Paramatma. But super Paramatma is only there to meditate on. Then the highest thing is Bhagavan, when you can connect with this someone who is beyond the matter. So it's very hard to understand. I mean, you are all elevated people, and your consciousness is just high above. It's not a problem for you to understand and accept the concept of Bhagavan, but the common people is not always on that stage of consciousness. So this is the first thing, to see everything as one. But this can, what I said, this can mislead to the path of Advaita, which is also not a not correct understanding. So that is why Kapila comes and teaches how to distinguish, how to discriminate things. And this is what Krishna is saying in the in the third verse of Chatur Shloki, that he is entering in the universe, but also he stays away from the universe in the same time. So this is Achintya Veda Abheda Tattva. So then one learns how to distinguish that I am different from Krishna. So I should act accordingly. This is another thing. And then later on, especially in the 11th canto, when Krishna is talking to Uddhava, the Uddhava Gita, he is very strongly establishing the principle that you should not see the difference, because if you see the difference is just searching for the word in English. I know in Hungarian, but I don't remember the word. This okay, Dvaita. So sorry, duality. Yeah, yes, thank you so much. So it's duality, and what is duality? Duality is matter. So it's hot and it's cold, it's big, it's small, it's set, it's so etc. It's nice and not nice. So it's all based on that. So to go beyond this conception, one should see again everything as a part of Krishna. But also he will know that everything is the part of Krishna. So Krishna is existing, the living entity is existing, material world is existing, but everything goes back to Krishna. So this is how the oneness is seen after. So first you should see the oneness, then you should see the difference, and then again the oneness, because then you will understand the oneness properly after seeing the difference. But there is no difference, and should be no difference, because yeah, is it
Yes.
let's go.
Pretty nice thing of understand and then look at oneness in that with the differentiation angle of it.
This is only my understanding how Krishna is introducing, how Shukadeva Goswami is introducing oneness, second this differentiation and oneness again. Because if he would introduce oneness first, I mean oneness without the difference, it would be very hard to understand. And if he would leave oneness out and show only difference, oh, that would be also not correct way. So, yeah. Please.
Now, this concept, what you explain, I'm talking about, like, say, culturally, like, say, now in India, you are, like,
Mm.
so there's a lot of confusion.
Yes.
The people are trying to understand. Now, when we move to other cultures, like, say, Sevaya, just a question I'm asking. So, there also it follows the same thought process in terms of oneness and the things, or they just accept the, the dual, I mean, the non-oneness very easily, because in our society it is very difficult to accept this from what we've seen generally. Is that trend similar in other cultures?
The thing is, in this Jewish Christian background, the duality is very, very strong, because when yeah, and matter and soul, because the Bible starts that there is matter and there is God. So God is doing things with matter, and but the thing is they cannot see the oneness. The difficulty is they cannot see the oneness. How matter relates to God. That is why the concept of evil, Satan, comes out, who is also a kind of an independent entity. So, yeah, in the West, duality is easily understood. Here in India, oneness is easily understood. So, this is also my understanding. Thank you so much for the question. So, I think we should end here. Thank you so much for your kind attention, and hopefully, I would be able to serve you again soon. So please pray for me that I can come back and serve Shri Shri Radha Vinod, Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra, and Gornitai, and of course you, devotees. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Shri Shri Radha Vinod ki jai, Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharaj ki jai, Shri Shri Gaurnitai ki jai, Srimati Tulsi Devi Maharani ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaura Bhakta Mandali ki jai, Jai Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.